Welcome back to another video, and in this particular video, as we have already covering our HTML course rapidly, so in this particular video we're going to create our first HTML web page. So it will be very much exciting and very much interesting for you guys if you're creating this for the first time. So this is what we are going to create in this video, and something we will be doing different from it, but this is what we're going to understand. So this kind of web page we're going to create. Here you can see it's coding Wikipedia, and here is a line, and again it's a paragraph, and then another line. So and this kind of system. So this web page we are going to create it, and we are going to write our first program or first HTML code. So let me first show you what's the code of it. So I have already written that code for you. This is the code. I will be providing the link of this code rather in the description, or I think it doesn't require much, but still I will try to provide you with the code, source code. But in this video I'm not going to explain you this code. We are going to write this code together. So yes, so here we are. Rather than doing I can just create a new notepad. So here comes an thing that in which something like text editor we should code. So that will be fully covered in the next video, but still we are going to get started in the notepad. So you doesn't need any kind of requirements, prerequisites or pre-system requirements, but in the next video I'm going to compare this with other text editor notepad so that we can understand what's the requirement of those code editors. So here is this screen, and we are going to write our code. So here is HTML. So this is a close tag, so we need to close it, and I'm closing it. So this is HTML tag, and after that I'm going to use some indents, space indents, but to write this code. Actually HTML doesn't require those indents. If you write the complete code in just a single line, then it will be okay for HTML to understand. But for our helpness and for us to understand it more conveniently, we are going to use some indents like this. So I will be to describe you the scope of those tags, I will be using indentations. Okay, so here I'm going to create a tag head. So if you have already watched my last video lecture, then you will be more easily to understand this. So please watch that. So this is again a close tag where I'm going to create another tag, close tag, which is title tag. Don't worry, I'm going to explain you this thing. Okay, so let's write something here. Okay, the space I'm just leaving in between these tags doesn't matter a lot. I can write directly to it. I can just provide next line, but as you wish you can write that, but you should write in such a way that you and other developers are working together, you can easily understand that. So I'm just writing my first website, or rather than that I am going to write coding Wikipedia. Okay, now we need to save it. So for saving this, what the file name we should write? So you can enter any file name. So first of all, I'm going to create a new folder over here. Okay, that's the new folder, and in this let me name this folder as practice, or rather than that I'm just writing coding. Okay, coding Wikipedia. In that folder I'm going to name this file as index.html. so the extension you need to write is .html to represent that so that your browser and the server both can actually understand that this file is an HTML file. So we need to run this file in the HTML file format. So that's why we write the extension as HTML. And for other languages related to website development, we are also going to notice that their extensions are related to their name. For example, for JavaScript it is .js. Okay, for CSS it is .css. Okay, this kind of extension we need to write. And why I named this file as index, because you notice whenever you just open a website name, for example you write facebook.com, so facebook.com, google.com, wikipedia.com, then this is a domain name which specifies a unique name for all the websites present on the World Wide Web. So whenever you just enter the name, so according to the address of that server, it's going to open that folder, and in that folder it is going to find out the file named as index. So that is the index file which contains, or you can say, home page. So for making your home page and making your server to understand that this is the home page, this is where you need to start the website if someone enters wikipedia.com or codingwikipedia.com. So that's why we write index.html. Rather than that, if you are directly going to open through your file browser, then you can name it anything you want to name, but still we are going to use the conventions. Okay, we have done. So let's test it. This is the most important thing. While you're coding, you need to test your code again and again, and you need to change it and do some experiments in it so that you can more easily understand that. So I'm giving an example that how you need to use your observations and experiments to understand what is going on this code. Okay, so I'm going to open my file browser, and in the file browser, this is the coding Wikipedia website, and this file, you can find out that this file is an HTML extension file, and there is an icon of Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge. I'm going to open it with the Google Chrome. You can open it with Firefox and any other, but I'm going to open it with Google Chrome. So what we get? We got a blank page. So what about the code we have written? What this code have done there? What does this code did? So try to find out something which is not relevant to code. For example, HTML, we know that HTML and this is a tag, this is also 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 a tag. So it has some meaning. It may be possible that these tags have did something behind the screens that we are not able to see, but there can be a backend technology or mechanism going inside. But you need to find out something which is irrelevant to code, something which doesn't makes any sense in the coding format. That is coding Wikipedia. You can find this is a normal text. So I am going to find out this coding Wikipedia on my output web page. So here is my output web page. Okay, in that you can see what I have written is over here, the coding Wikipedia. Nothing on the screen, but at the top bar I can see coding Wikipedia at the tab name. So let us reconfirm it that it is actually it may be possible that it's going to be a folder name, but let us check by changing it. This is how you need to learn, by changing by having an experience in experimental experience. For example, I have written welcome to coding Wikipedia, and I'm going to save it. You need to save it always before testing. Okay, now we're going to refresh your web page, and here you can see it has changed. So now we are able to understand that whatever we write in between the scope of the HTML in the HTML in the title tag is going to be shown over here. So that's how the learning mechanism go on. I can easily explain you this thing with just line of statement that I can say, so whatever you are going to write it will be going to display over here. But I want you to understand by doing some experiments in the code, because cannot be always there for you to tell you that this tag is going to do this. So you need to improve your observations to understand the code. Okay, next thing we're going to create is a body for our web page. Okay, now make a habit that you wherever comes a close tag, then you always close the tag before writing the next line of code. So as I always do, in that what I'm going to create is I'm going to create this h1 tag, and in between the tag I'm going to write something like welcome. Now that's I'm going to write coding Wikipedia. Okay, now going to save it. Okay, then now test it. So here we get coding Wikipedia, and it's, you can find out that it is pretty bold than what other text belongs to this page, and even this page you can find out this is pretty bold, this is more highlighted than other text present on the web page. So why it is this? Because we have written h1. What does h means? H means heading, and 1. So what does 1 stands for? Okay, let's check by changing this number, because this is a number. We can just change this tag name. So let's say I'm writing h3. and here also I'm going to change it by h3 and save it. Now test it. Oh, I find out that this text size is now smaller. The reason is because this is a heading tag. This heading tag is having 6 values with it: h1, h2, h3, h4, h5 and h6. According to the different sizes and according to our requirements, we can use those headings. Okay, so let us make it to h1. So here you have learned two more tags, that is title tag and h1 tag. Okay, now a thing comes that we have written almost tags in this page and some text, but now we are going to write an attribute. So what the attribute is, we are going to align it. So align, align is equals to, as the format I have already told you in the last lecture, so we are going to resume from that. So this means align in the short, it means alignment. So I am going to enter at center, save it and test it. Okay, now it is in the center. Okay, it's perfectly fine. So the next thing I'm going to do, so here you can see this is the tag name and this is an attribute name and is the value of that attribute. Okay, so let's make some color. So I'm going to add another attribute, and let's say its value, color value to be red, and save it. There are some colors which HTML browser can directly understand using the names, but after that we will also going to use hex codes in CSS, but now for HTML we can directly enter the color name. Okay, now check that code up. Okay, we are not able to see anything or any change on our codes. So what can be the reason? Let's understand. Say, what's the problem? Okay, there is actually no change in our code. Let's say I'm going to use another tag font in the scope. I'm going to make this in the scope of h1. Okay, now check it up, saving this code and run it. Okay, I found out the problem. Here is a code. Okay, what does this do? You here understand another tag which is named as font, and the attribute value of this font is color is equals to red. Okay, here is the problem we got. We need to close this inverted commas also, and now you can find out that the color is applied to this code. So here is what it is. Font is a new tag to you which is describing the font qualities. So this font, anything coming the scope of this, this is the scope from here to till its end. So anything coming to the scope, the rules of this font tag will be applied to every single text which is displayed to the user. This is what the font tag does. So here we can also write some sizes, colors, font family. So here also we can write font families. We need to enter just the name which are already installed to the browser. If they are not installed, then the default font will be used. Okay, so now we are going to apply a paragraph. Before that, let us check. Here's a line. So okay, for creating a line we are going to write another tag. So if you are worried about that in every single step we are having a new tag, so don't worry, it is initially creating a problem. You don't need to learn this code. You never need to learn this code. You just need to practice by making different web pages. Okay, so here's the HR, just a single open tag. Now it's an open tag, so let's refresh it. So here you can see a line have been created. So this HR tag creates a line for you, and it's an open tag. Okay, that after that we need to create a paragraph. So paragraph, or simply according to it, it's p tag for paragraph. Okay, and in that we are going to write some paragraph. So I am not going to write it again. I'm just going to copy this text as I want to do so, and here is it, and just paste it. Okay, let's check and observe, is everything same or something different? Okay, here is something different. You need to observe that. So for you, let me do something like okay. Okay, now you can see there is a difference between the pages. Rather than the color of the coding Wikipedia, you can see this is the web page that I have shown you for the first time when I just started this video lecture. Is that programming which deals with website development? This statement is in the next line, whereas the space is also available for this web page to show, but still this is in the next line. The reason is, in this code I have changed something. So let me show you the code of this. So here you can see this code, and our code. Now try to check what's the difference between this. So here's the paragraph tag, and here you can see we are now coding in HTML to learn website beginners to enter in the word programming. Here is a tag, and here the tag is missing. Here the tag is missing. So let's enter this tag and check whether we get the same output now or not. So here is my page, and I'm going to refresh it. Okay, we have get this tag, and we have understand what does this tag do. I don't need to tell you that what this tag do. This just creates a new line in your text. Okay, to change the paragraph we have this paragraph, another we can use another paragraph to change the paragraph of our statement, and again we need to just make an HR to create another line, and that's the code done. This is how we have just created our first HTML page in this video. Okay, now let's choose so refresh. Okay, now we have done with. So HTML, as I already told you, that it is responsive, little bit responsive. For example, when I just change the screen size, like I'm just switching to mobile, then you can see that this coding Wikipedia is always aligned to the center. Okay, this is the mobile sizes, and this is the tab sizes, and we are here on my laptop size. Okay, another thing that I already wanted to tell you is a new tag which is not pretty different. Okay, here you can see that I have applied align to be center over here. So in case I don't want to align, so in case I want to align everything like p tag and everything to the center, so it can be possible that I am going to write here also align is equals to center, align is equals to center, and here also I need to write that. So rather than doing that, what we can do is we can just add another tag by replacing this. I'm going to just erase that, and here I'm going to create a new tag that is center, and just do this thing. So as you know that the tag or the tag name already suggests what it does, it just centralize everything. So now you can see everything is centralized, so I don't need to write attribute value align is equals to center to every single tag. So it is, I can do that directly using another tag, that is center tag. So that's all for this video. Hope you understand. Now you need to practice for this by creating some different web pages. In the next video I will going to do two different things. I will be first comparing Notepad with some other text editor named as Sublime Text 3, and I'm also going to test this code into my mobile phone so that you can I can prove my statement that HTML is cross-platform supported. So that's all for this video. Hope you learned something from this video. So you need to practice this. Just imagine you are writing a book, whatever, use these tags and make awesome web pages. Initially you can find out this to be very easy or tough according to you, but by going through this complete course you will be going at an expert level. This is the starting basics. It is very basic, from where I'm going to start, and from here we are going to use multimedias, showing images and videos to our web pages, controlling videos and all. A lot of things are remaining and we will be covering in this video lectures. Okay, thanks for watching and I surely catch you in my next video lecture. Bye friends.